Welcome everyone to Fawks Talks. That was quite a lead-in. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I'm of course your host Ronan Fox. With me as always is now the new voice in the void, Miss Taryn Hackett. Say hello, Taryn.
Hi, everybody, the person you were waiting to hear from.
It's not true at all. We
Too
also
true.
have the official mod, Cody. Go ahead and type hello, Cody. And of course, always we have the boss, Mr. Chris Solo. Say hello, Chris.
Hello, hello.
But it's really all about me. So let's hit up those sponsors, pay for this thing, and then dive in. So first sponsor is Critical Dice. So a big shout out to them, particularly on this of all holy nights, Frostguard Night. So big shout out to Jason. Go ahead and enter Fable42 for 20% off non-subscription merchandise there. I don't have mine beside me. I have my Critical Dice that are all ready for tonight, ready to go. Okay. Sorry, they're playing with filters. The second sponsor tonight is Griffin Co. Taryn, you need to be more like Eric and shout Griffin Co. anytime I say it.
Griffin Co.
Solid.
Yep, that was the point, yes.
Yeah. So we have a promo for them too, right? Am I mistaken? We have 22% off for Fable42 code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything
Why
that
don't
you
you
guys
know that?
I just heard it somewhere. But you can check them out. Anything that you guys see that's 3D printed on any of those campaign shows that we'll be talking about here soon is brought to you by them. Okay, so with that out of the way, I still have no idea what I'm doing. You have nothing better to do. So everyone take that one single breath and I'll see you after the intro. Let's roll it. I just set my cup down. I actually got it in. The drink. I mean,
That's what she said.
All right, let's jump into it. Let's take a look at what the Fox is going on in the tabletop world. Let's see what we got. We got big news in the D&D world this week. Candlekeep Mysteries came out. That was released on Tuesday. This is an anthology of 17 mystery-style adventures, because if there's one thing D&D groups excel at, it's mysteries and problem solving.
Have you looked at that yet?
I have not. Have you?
Yeah, well, we all have access to it, so you can look on the campaign on the thing. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I don't think that I don't know. I know that some of my favorite writers for D&D wrote different mysteries for it, so I think that's pretty cool. But anyway, so the first adventure, probably a locked door. I think that's probably the most mysterious, hard to get through thing for D&D groups. It almost traps almost shut Legends of Shoggoth down. So, but I'm not shitting you. Actually, the legend, each story does begin with players accessing like a book, and that enables them to cross some sort of threshold with a key. And I've heard that they are just guessing at the quality of this book, as not a single group in the playtest have actually managed to start an adventure. Can't get through that damn door. Either way, each adventure is self-contained for levels ranging from 1 to 16, beyond which, I don't know, I guess mysteries are meaningless because you're basically gods at that point. Here's looking at you, Rex. The book also comes with a poster map of a library fortress, which sounds like some bullshit the math nerds used to play Magic the Gathering in.
Excuse you. That's rude. Thank you.
It's only partly true. Yeah, it's true. But in all seriousness, it does sound pretty cool. I am excited to look into it. Didn't realize I had access, so I'll be doing that later on this evening after Wizards.
There are lots of things you didn't realize. Continue.
That's true. I'm an idiot. And if you're planning on playing it and are tired of all the available races, might I interest you in the Folk of the Feywild? It's the new UA races just launched by Wizards. There are 4. Technically 3, as Hobgoblin of the Feywild just seems like a cop-out for a nice round number. The first one on the list is a direct result of reading my mind, as it is a fairy race.
Listen,
Seriously, it's like
all the races are just reading minds. I mean, literally, I have them all built out, and Renee was also talking about having them all built out.
I think Renee like literally just built a bunny race.
It's all my Chaldean races.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's great. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be playing what's called the Corvu, which is Solo's fairy race.
What's your name again?
Cookie Peach Tree. Can't wait. I'm not taking credit for them putting it in UA, but I am saying that you're welcome. The other races are for all my furry fans out there that include Owlfolk and Rabbit Folk. With these two new races, it just means that we are one step closer to a Disney-themed one-shot, like combining Onward and Zootopia. Also, if we don't have a reenactment of the Tootsie Pop commercial, then I believe this has all been a giant waste of time. So, let's see what else happened. What's a little closer to home. We had Wizards last Friday. It was about 3 hours of Thegan shade with everyone vowing to kill the former student.
Are you even a little surprised at this point? Like, I mean, remember when we set out to make Thegan a villain and then it worked?
Yeah. I mean, it okay, Khalees, Mardak, Anna, Kai, the fucking janitor, the entire dishware in the cafeteria.
But here's the thing,
everyone.
though. But who succeeded in killing Thegan? The good buddies.
That's
nobody yet.
Anymore.
Nobody.
Well,
they did exactly what I wanted them to do.
But you still died.
I went to 0 hit points. I did not die.
Just wait until the legends get a take at you eventually.
Oh yeah.
Or at least
dude, I got fuck that. That I was so disappointed in that episode. All right, so anyway, so if you were wondering what Thegan has been up to since leaving the school, well, he's living rent-free in everyone's heads. So that's what he's been doing. Speaking of free space, Astra's room's a bit less Astra-y now. But that sorry. But that giant dramatic void will be filled by the tiny goblin. Is it Ponzi?
Ponzi.
Or both.
Ponzi.
Okay.
Ponzi.
Like the scheme.
Which I'm already thoroughly enjoying.
That is how she pitched it. She is Ponzi like the scheme.
Okay, cool.
Love them. So
yeah. Either way, she's an honor student, making her leaps and bounds above the rest of the class. And I know what you're thinking, but Ronan, Anna was valedictorian. But amongst these wizards, that's like being the skinniest kid at back camp. So.
Okay, Ari is damn smart. All right.
I might be a little salty. Spoiler alert! I hated this episode. But anyway, they definitely had their opportunity to prove their worth as they had to rush in to help move the school following that Hesian threat. I won't say I told you so, but most of them almost died in this operation. So and this leads poor Anna and Ponzi to end up in some sort of like purgatory thing. I don't know. An endless void of white.
It was Kai.
Like politics.
It was Kai and Ponzi.
That's what I said.
Didn't you say Anna?
I don't know.
Anna on the brain?
All right. It was Kai. And Ponzi. Whatever. Either way, just as with Silverthorn, once the school lands, everyone is back on their feet, and they are tasked with finding out information on their surroundings. Khalees tries to lead that rudderless ship. He wants to be a captain, but he's more like an assistant manager at like Long John Silver's at this point.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah.
So mean.
It's not all bad though. They did manage to take down a Colossus, so there is some redemption. Well, not for Olo, as she was doing her best Kai impression, spending most of her time horizontal. But anyways,
I didn't laugh. You did.
That's two of the how they got to Greyhawk stories. Next up is Frostguard, who, after all their changes, is going to look like some sort of episode of Botched. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. We were joking around today that it's now Himian's daycare. Okay, what else? Well, Vault was fucking heavier than Pond's fanny pack full of sugar bombs. We got the fallouts, pun intended, from Clay and Tipper's reveals as Ash is forced to come face to face with her prejudice. like a conservative at a Southern barbecue. We also have
that's
Tipper.
True. Sorry.
That's 100%
just true.
It's a little close to home. We also have Tipper getting a blast from her past as she hears the voice of Gil, that dude that created her to look just like his wife. I guess that's one way to technically not cheat. It's like if she has a twin, it's totally acceptable, right? Speaking of robot fornication, I believe we also found out how her hacking causes very similar euphoria to other self-gratifying activities. Hard to say if she felt the shame and self-loathing that soon follows, though.
Is that everybody? Just me?
Okay. That's yeah, I've heard stories. I read on the internet. Bond also makes his presence felt. He's a very lighthearted, and he brings a certain necessary goodness in this very emotional time. Honestly, though, I'm not sure if he's like just a happy guy or if he's just like too dumb to know otherwise. Listen, like I'm saying, anyone who thinks Tipper is the leader of anything clearly has some cognitive issues.
But I have to say though, I just picture Pawn running around and like as he's looking around, it's just like sunshine and rainbows, like blood splatters are just like rainbow colored, and like that's how I picture Pawn's like
he's one of the tweakers, just without the addiction.
Yeah, like it's
Cool.
just happy everywhere, like the sun's smiling. You know, that's just yeah.
I can appreciate that. But all that's probably from his checker past, which we learned about this episode. Turns out he was in 5 gangs. 5. My man is like the Petra of gang members, just bouncing from one to another. But I gotta say, he takes it in stride, which is very different than how Petra takes it. I will say that he does bring up some very interesting points. He has a conversation with Marcus, and he points out some differences and similarities between gangs versus an adventuring party. And it turns out that there's very little difference, in fact. Concept baffles poor Marcus, who I find myself constantly feeling sorry for. It's just me, or is absolutely bonkers that somehow Marcus is considered the most normal in this group, particularly when he worries about how Pawn is behaving, just as he himself is coming down from a drug-induced high. Good God, this is like a radiated train wreck that I just can't stop watching.
It's a good train wreck.
It is. It's the best kind. It's killing me with those filters. All right.
He's an egg now.
Yes, he is. He's an egg. But anyway, so next up, speaking of Rex and all of his weirdness, Legends of Shao Gal. Thought I was done with all this shit.
Never done.
You're welcome. Get to that in a second. Anyways, our lovable Magoos have cleared the glacier and are due some compensation. I'm gonna keep saying it until it sticks now.
I mean, it fucking works. It's like you gotta try hard with us.
That's right.
I mean, we're competent as fuck.
Yeah. So they're due their compensation. Nothing too big, just a piece of weasage. Not like that, although that would make for some interesting fan art. Speaking of fan art,
I mean, Jinx got that piece of weasage, so
that's true. Actually, that's quite odd. We also find out that shithead Carson, hey, I'm lost, or something like that, still sucks. But is far from the worst accomplice, as it turns out that Anna is the shadow that's been helping Rex.
Carson, hey, I'm lost.
Fuck. I will never understand how I turned the Lady of Pain into a good guy, but here we are. Anyways, whatever.
Got away with women.
I do. I could take the worst and make them the best. You're absolutely correct. But anyway, so Rex also now, speaking of, wants to befriend Daffodil's devil friend. So, that's probably fine.
Wet ass possum.
That was so good.
God. The Magoos. Need I say more? But anyway, so his he's got less of a god complex and more, he's turning into like a god fanboy at this point. So like Rex is to power how Mata is to fun holes. He just can't help himself. He's also bald on my screen right now. Speaking of, he gets to go to his happy place this episode, the library, truly in his element, like me in a room full of mirrors. It's just fun. It's just where you belong. But you know what shouldn't be in a room full of mirrors, Solo? A wet ass possum.
And Cody just gave the acronym of WAP, which makes it even more worse.
It's gross. WAP.
WAP.
We learned entirely too much about Daffodil this episode. This is what I'm saying. And for that, we're all probably down at least 2 or 3 brain cells.
You're just lucky that Jinx didn't start twerking.
Oh God.
No, I think Rex is lucky that Jinx didn't start twerking.
He was in the library. He wouldn't have seen it.
He would have felt it, the disturbance in the force.
Oh, I just want to see. I want to see the simultaneous reactions between Rex and Cass, and how that would have gone.
I got you, D. That's a natural 20 on a performance check
Oh
for
God.
a twerk.
Eddie just put, is that the sound when you smack the floor with a wet ass possum? That I truly hate everything about this conversation.
Yeah. And I do agree with Diane in the chat. Jinx does historically have very good performance checks.
That's true, and no, I'm not even. I'm going to move on, guys. I'm going to move on to something much more darker, I think, this time. Realms was a bit darker this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Shadows and human robot people. Fuck me, whatever happened to just the cave of kobolds? Like, can't we just have an easy episode like that?
No.
Yeah, I guess
Diane
not.
and Solo are trying to one up each other with the.
Seriously.
Mm.
Sick and disturbing. So anyway, we start
Wasn't
the
that
episode. It's getting, dude. It was literally dark. Like the whole.
It was nighttime.
Final.
You know what? Ronan, explain how he's wrong and how dark it was. Continue.
Yeah, I will. I will. Thank you. So anyways, we start the episode with conversing with the mage that had the face of like a fucking overused candle. And that was like the cheeriest part of the episode. After that, we set about searching the area, and of course the 2 cats go off on their own. This is why we need dog races. Loyal won't go off on their own, not nearly as emotionally unstable. Speaking of cat emotions, I'm glad this was brought up in the Q&A, because apparently I'm not the only one who thinks that there is something romantic brewing between Eclipse and Nafiko. And holy shit, does that raise some serious moral questions. Look, I mean, I'm not the one to judge here. Glass houses and all that. I am from West Virginia. Before I got married, the court asked us so many times if we were married, I started to wonder if they knew something we didn't. But nevertheless, the situation could prove mighty awkward in the future. Speaking of Nafiko, she does befriend one of the enemy constructs, and all of a sudden the Dawnbreakers have their own Oscar. So that's cool. Let's see what else. Well, we have an introduction to Reynaud Varzul. Probably didn't say that right.
That was perfect.
Oh, sweet. So for who all accounts is, I guess, the total opposite of Keelan. He's a vampire. He loves the night. He's charismatic, and he's intelligent. But he can't outsmart Kai's patented bubble. So instead, they just have an awkward, long night staring contest. Scarier than that time that Carrick woke up to see Eclipse's reflective eyes hovering over him. Oh, and speaking of Carrick, his dad's dead. And that is Realms. So anyway, that's the weekend gaming.
Why?
I don't know. It's just something I got to do.
You know, I'm glad he doesn't watch this show.
I know he'd be so mad at me. Part of it was all the shade that he didn't know he was throwing at me.
I mean, that's probably why I killed his dad, because of all the shade he's thrown at me.
It's
subconscious revenge.
As the DM, you have to ask yourself.
Well, no, it was way back in the day. Eric used to laugh at me when I used to do character voices, and that was soul crushing. Like
I understand.
For sure.
New to DMing and trying to get my voices down and stuff, and like I was like, I'm terrible.
I understand.
Particularly like when that so he does it professionally. So like having someone who does it professionally say, "Yeah, you're terrible," that would be a kick in the pants, I think.
All of my friends that I played with are terrified of me and wouldn't have told me if my voices were bad.
That's good. I don't have voices. Solo asked me today if I was doing a voice. I'm going to raise it an octave and speak quicker, but I don't really have voices. I have hic and less hick. Like those are the two I got. So sorry. Maybe I should work on that. Renee's really good at it. Maybe I'll ask him for advice.
Really good. I was very impressed.
Fucking good. Anyway, so what's going on? What did you do this week, Karen?
I worked, but while I was working on the writing for my one shot for FabledCon, and I came up with some brutal. It's so creepy. It creeped me out, like visualizing it. I'm so excited. Worked on that a little bit, so everybody will get a taste of Far Realms. I'm kind of play testing some stuff during FabledCon for it, but that was the bulk of my creativity.
Yeah.
And I did a couple of dice pours this week, some pretty stuff.
Dope. I don't know if anybody noticed. I forgot to mention. So part of the poll was sleeves. I'm wearing fucking sleeves. Every time I look down, I'm like confused.
Yeah, it's like perverse.
I feel betrayed somehow. I keep just wanting to roll it up. It's weird. Anyway,
I legit asked him if he was okay.
You know, I actually love that DeAngelo just asked about how many subs to unlock Ronan doing Donald Duck voice for a whole episode, which I will fully endorse.
My God, I have no idea.
Here's a question though: have you guys ever heard Donald Duck sneeze?
Yeah, I have. That was really good.
Please, Ronan.
And the answer to that question is, if we get 10 more subs, I will totally make him do it.
Make it happen, people.
10. That's it.
I literally.
Hey, Chills. I know you have like 50 accounts. Like, can we make this happen?
That's not fair. Whatever. No, that'll be an absolute train wreck. I can't do that voice.
If I unsub and resub, does that count?
You just gotta get a lot of saliva in your mouth. That's it.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's what she said. Anyway, speaking of solo in a very professional manner, we did start the outlining process for World of Ukador.
What's
that?
That
was pretty exciting. That is a book that we are going to be pinning, I think is the correct term. Yeah, so we're gonna do the lore videos and draft it up. And do you have like a projected? You do. When are you?
Yeah, so the Kickstarter it'll be launched either before or during UkadorCon in October.
And that'll be the campaign setting.
It'll be the campaign setting, and then the companion book with additional races and classes, other locations. So like the campaign setting book will be the main continents: Saros, Hylac, and probably but maybe just those two. And then we'll have some classes and races and stuff from campaign 1 and campaign 2, and then we'll have the extended Ukador continents like Motul and Donadel and Sealith and Dulcian and all that.
Just kidding. Random note, the chat wants to know, Ronan, what about your book also? Because we know that's also, y'all be writing. So pitch it.
I don't know if I'll pitch it, but I will tell you a little bit about it. So I worked on it
pretty much. What is wrong with you?
So I worked on it a lot last year. I worked on it a lot last year. Stumbled into some blocks, and then started Fable42. And just kind of set it to the side because I had a lot going on here. So I picked it back up literally like this week and revisited my magic system. I have a hard magic system in my book, so I wanted to flesh it out and was able to go back through. I do what's called a story circle. I don't know if you guys have ever. Dan Harmon is the one that sort of penned the newest version of that, Rick and Morty guy. And so I follow his, and then I do what's called a story beat. So Save the Cat is a writer's book for film, but anyways, there's one for books too. So I did that. So basically, I have it all outlined now. It's ready to start. So I would like to have a first draft done by summer. So it's basically set in the world of Valandrica, and it is a combination of it's high fantasy D&D style book with. I was about to say severe, but that sounds too dramatic. Heavy elements of shonen style anime.
So so basically what I'm hearing is you're perfectly equipped to be helping Solo with his setting book as well, like for all of
yeah,
this.
world building is hands down my favorite thing to do. Love to world build. So, but yeah, okay, just a couple things real fast. I need to get into these recaps. I want to touch on a few topics. We got Volcania coming up this Sunday, so that's a big deal. That'll be the first show of that. We have the fan art contest. Submissions are good through some date. Anybody want to help me out with that date?
The 16th. I just posted the link in there.
All right, cool. There's the link. First place gets $300 worth of prizes. Second place gets $200. Third place gets $100. PG-13. It has to be from a Fable42 character. I don't know. Did we ever get word? Does that mean me? Can people draw me doing awesome, amazing things on Fawks Talks?
I'm telling you, all I want right now, I want a fan art shirt of Rook and Lily, please. Or Travanis holding an eyeball. Either one of those.
Rook and Lily and just shadow silhouette.
So it could be one character, it could be a scene, it could be a couple characters. It just has characters in it from one of our campaigns. You can submit 6 total pieces, 1 submission per show. It does have to be original artwork. You can't use a third-party app to create the characters.
Right. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
And because of that, it has to be original, and so that means it has to be an actual character, and therefore cannot be Ronan.
Whatever. Stupid.
I'm making a pouty face at Ronan right now.
Okay, whatever.
And Jordan did said only relevant characters. Thegan and Rook does not count because they abandoned their friend.
Boo.
That's not true.
Get
Rook
over it.
didn't do anything. Okay? Rook got beheaded on the way to go save the love of her life.
Yeah, she was a Pinocchio person.
She didn't know that.
All right, anyway. Salt
spilled on my keyboard.
Okay, let's get to these recaps. All right, so first up is the aforementioned Wizards. We are on technically episode 2. It is still the aftermath, but this is part 2 of that. These are happening simultaneously, as will our show tonight. So we started this episode similar to the last. We are 2 days after the Ascension, as House Moonlander is still processing all of the events that have transpired. The group's still unable to get over the loss of Astra and the other students. They head to Astra's room to say their goodbyes before it goes away. It's here that they meet and chat with Ponzi, who's the new transmutation honor student. Meanwhile, Mardak and Khalees speak about the future and trust, including the hunting of a certain Goliath wizard. Following this, Mardak addresses the school about the recent events and how the school must stick together. Anna will then seek out Mardak. They speak about her new shadow lessons as the rest of the group meets Viago, Biero, Nestro, the O's. They are the outside muscle hired by the school as they prepare for the eventual Hesian threat. However, like before, the school is tossed into chaos once again as they find out that the Hesian Empire is only a few miles away. All of the able-bodied students rush to the Wizari crystals to begin the ritual to plane shift the school ahead of time and with little preparation. Moonlanders didn't fare as well as the Silverthorns during this process as the school begins to teleport. Kai, Ponzi, and Khalees all drop. While the fate of the others is still unknown, Kai and Ponzi are teleported to a purgatory-like place where Kai has a chance to say goodbye to Astra. Following this closure, they are eventually saved by Kai's aunt, who she had messaged earlier. Jeez. Once returned to the others, they find themselves in a new land. Mardak asks the honor students of Moonlander to scout up to the mountain, looking for any signs of help or resources. Upon arriving at the mountain peak, where they saw a faint glow of a possible structure, but before they are able to enter, they are attacked by a giant colossal golem. It is a strong foe, dropping several party members. However, thanks to Anna's healing spells, they were able to destroy the creature. Whatever. After recovering, they enter the temple. It's here that they find a large Rosari crystal. Taking note, they grab the papers and materials that were strewn about the temple and rush back to the school to let the instructors know about their findings. So that is sort of their preliminary Greyhawk adventure. And as I stated earlier, this will be the continuation of that tonight. This will be Frostguard's adventure into Greyhawk. So tune into that right after the show. All right, next up is Vault42. We are on episode 16, and it is Secrets. We pick up this week with Clay and Tipper talking about how they reveal them true selves to Ash and how that went, which was not great. Following this, Pawn, viewing Tipper as the leader of this gang, gives her an application to join. It's written in crayon, bless his heart. Clay will leave Tipper to return to Ash to have a heart-to-heart while Tipper secretly listens. After this, she can't contain herself, so Tipper says that she will leave if it means that Ash feels better or feels safer. However, Ash instead talks her into staying in her own way. Pawn and Marcus will head to the Raiders' stash and talk while they divvy up the loot. Pawn finds a very interesting comic book about aliens, and then they have a very interesting conversation discussing the differences and similarities of the terms group and gang, which at this point, I totally think this group is a gang. As a means of amends, Ash plays the found holotape of Gil, the man who created Tipper, revealing he worked for Robco but then left to work for Vault-Tec for his love interest Teresa, who Tipper is created after. Not thinking about those implications again. Moving on. Tipper and Clay return to Gil's computer to comb over his logs and find that he was an integral part of creating many bots. Additionally, he had contacts who were working on synths and AI. Following this, the secrets keep coming out as Clay shows their true face to Tipper. She reacts in typical Tipper fashion and says that he doesn't need a mask. However, they disagree for now. Once things settle down a bit, they start to set up camp within the building. Tipper creates an interesting meal with spaghetti, mashed potatoes, and pork and beans, and of course, sugar. So the term interesting is used very loosely here. Over the meal, Marcus divulges a bit more of his past regarding the Desert Rangers, which is potentially the next move for this group or gang. Tensions ease further as Tipper finds a bicycle and tries to ride it as Clay gets paid by June and asks that she lead anyone who's searching for them in the opposite direction they are headed. Pawn and Ash agree to begin watch as the rest of the group rests. Tipper, in typical Tipper fashion again, surprises them in full synth mode. But hey, it went pretty well as they continue their watch afterwards. And that's where we are with them. So it's kind of after the sort of ramifications of all these discoveries. But I don't know, we'll kind of see what their next move is and how they coordinate together because I have a feeling there's still a lot of unresolved issue there. Next up is Legends. Episode 21. It is Warm Welcome. So we begin this week as the Legends awake, still within the ice bubble in the heart chamber of the glacier. As they come to, they are confronted with several issues, not least of which is Cass's eyes. They are a new color. He believes he died during the purification process and exclaims that his eye change was part of that resurrection. Little light on the packed details, though. The other issue they examine is what their next step should be. The Legends discuss their options and where to go from here. Eventually, they agree heading south to the volcano, and then the Fire Elemoddon should be their first move. Following that, they plan to swing around and back up north, stopping in Zalasko. But first, they need the ruin they came for. About this time, Weesage appears from the ice, ready to complete the deal they made and hand over the rune crystal. But before she does, she inquires as to what the Legends plan to do with it. Their explanation is less than satisfying, as Weesage is not happy with their involvement with Carson Aelos. She demands that they keep the rune away from him and continue to help cleanse the corruption. And not only that, but she wants them to help bring down Aelos. They agree to the terms, and it's actually Jinx who is entrusted with the crystal, much to the obvious disappointment of Rex. Sensing this, Weesage has a private conversation with Rex. She tells him that he needs to focus on the people around him and the people he is helping. He might be destined to ascend, but he will not be able to he will not be respected if he already looks down on the people around him. And fucking mic drop. Rex takes this to heart, and we almost immediately see a change, even if it is small. Weesage then grants boons to the group, giving Jinx, Rex, and Daffodil fire resistance, and the whole group the ability to breathe underwater. Sure, that will come in handy. From here, the Legends proceed back to the surface, entering into the dark morning of the Xyloc dynasty, immediately pondering the best way to return. However, once outside, they see shadows coalesce into a feminine shadowed figure adorned in a shadowy dress. Rex immediately thanks her for the help, as she was the one that healed Rex during the previous battle. The shadow figure lets the legends know that they can call her Anna and offers to teleport the group to Fifthitch. Fifthitch, yes. The city that worships a friend of hers. Barf. After being rightfully suspicious and discussing it for some time, they agree on the assistance. She tells Rex to check out the library because they have some very cool and rare books. Of course she does. And so Anna, the Shadow Queen, the Lady of Pain, transports the legends to the city of Fifthitch via the shadows. Once complete, the legends find themselves in a dark alley in the city. Using the maps, they have Rex guide them to a tavern inn thing. In the tavern, the legends discuss some of the dark pasts and further plans their route to the Isle of Moderns. While at the table, Mata gets a letter from her friend to meet them in the library, and so Mata will accompany Rex to the library. Here, Mata meets with the Hammer and Satchel, and they offer guidance to the southern island and a potential meeting with Queen Fionagol, or the Duchess Rowan Black. And all this while Rex reads like all the books. Meanwhile, back at the tavern, Daffodil performs a very well-received rap song. Check it out, it's clipped. And after all that excitement, the legends take a long rest in the tavern and prepare for their next day in Fifthitch. So they got a couple loose things to tie up here before they start heading to that last Isle of Mata. So check it out. That'll be on Monday at 6:30. I didn't say the time for for Vault. That is Saturday at 6:30, right?
Yes, the same as it is every week, London.
I need a calendar. And actually, Shawgal is at 6. I said that wrong. Yeah. Correct. So Monday at 6.
So Monday and Friday is the same time. Wednesday and Saturday are the same time.
I'm totally going to remember that.
No, you're not.
I'm not going to remember that.
And Middle Earth and Forge also start at the same time.
Which what time, Ronan?
Which I know to be, of course.
And if things keep continuing, Casual's new show will start Fridays at 3.
Okay. I got it. Check the calendar.
It took him a second, didn't it? There was some smoke flying out of your ears and like a couple sparks while I was trying real hard.
I hate you all. Okay, so last but not least is Solo's stupid show. Sorry. Realms of Ukador. We're on chapter 29, Secrets Gleaned. I said the right episode title this time. Okay, so the Dawnbreakers stand above the fried corpse of the white-bearded mage I mentioned earlier, contemplating on what to do next. Orion lifts the dead creature up by the neck so Kyriel can investigate the body. Sifting through the robes, she finds a ring and a wand as Kai slides those items into her pouch. Orion approaches Kiwin with the body in hand. The group then decides what questions Kiwin is going to ask the fresh corpse. Kiwin, brushes that off, casts Speak with the Dead, and asks the corpse several questions. The group gains some valuable information along with details about the second location in the Stockbur Isles. Once they're finished with the questions, they continue their investigation of the area. Kyriel, Carrick, and Nafiko investigate the rune fort as Orion and Eclipse search the surrounding area and find what looks to be an entrance to a crypt of some sort behind the rune fort. It's guarded by more of those constructs, but Eclipse attempts to sneak around to the side anyways. Meanwhile, Orion pretends to be a white cloak and fool the constructs. Doesn't work very well, and they find themselves in another fight. Orion lets out a roar, startling Kiwin, who yells out to her friends about the troubles before she dimension doors to the location. She arrives, in the nick of time, healing the now unconscious Orion. Eventually, the rest of the Dawnbreakers arrived to help aid their fallen friends. Once there, the constructs pose little threat and are quickly dispatched. The group ties up the remaining construct for questioning. There they learn that this construct goes by Zyaku. And as Nafiko approaches, he can't take his eyes off of her and questions her origin. Shortly thereafter, he shifts between planes, escaping the binds, and approaches Nafiko, reaching for her hand to help her stand up. Once their hands touch, their minds are tethered. The two share memories from their creation. Nafiko sees this creature awaken in a giant room with thousands of other constructs just like him. Time flashes forward as she sees him charging a town, killing and destroying everything in their path while wearing white robes and a bronze dragon symbol. In the distance, she sees through the eyes as if she were there, someone who resembles Kyriel running away. Another flash and Nafiko sees the same portal they used to travel to the frigid expanse. As they continue to share information, Zayaku looks towards the crypts and warns the party that it will be dark soon and they should not be near the crypts because he will awaken, a creature that feeds on the innocent that goes by the name of Reynaud Barzul. The group tries to hurry down the mountain to reach the Honka truck. However, before they can, Kiwin's drift globe gets snuffed out. This while Kai sees a familiar face, Samanji, reaching out for her. Kai approaches as Carrick and the rest of the party yell out for her with no response. She eventually resists the charm and quickly tries to cast her tiny hut spell. As the mists draw closer, a shattered figure approaches the faint light given off by Kiwin's shield and speaks to the group. He reveals he is in fact Reynaud Barzul. Through conversation to buy time for Kai, they learn that he is a vampire and very interested in them. However, this works as Kyriel is successful with finishing the spell and the party is protected. Reynaud smiles at the group and tells them that he will see them in their dreams, and then he vanishes. The group, tired and scared, attempt to sleep through the night with nothing but darkness surrounding their camp. And in the morning, as the sun begins to rise, the group gets a glimpse of dozens of monstrous creatures waiting outside of their bubble. However, they soon vanish, leaving the group exhausted from a terrible night of rest. They are healed, but are very distraught. So I guess they may be heading to their second location, but they still have a lot of questions about this one. So tune into that one on Wednesday at 6:30. Of course, I know that's obvious. And for the next installment there. So I think that's it for the recaps. You guys are all caught up on this week's campaigns. So we're going to take just a short break here. Give us 5-10 minutes, and we'll be right back. We'll go ahead and do a mid-show giveaway. Go ahead and enter raffle into the chat to be entered in the mid-show giveaway, and we will see you like in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Congratulations, STX Live, on winning the raffle. Go ahead and message Solo in our Discord to find out what you won. Whatever that is. So anyway, welcome back. Short break. Want to get through these interviews because I'm super excited. So first up, our first guest, DeAngelo. How do you say your last name?
It is either Murillo or Murillo, if you can roll the R's. So
Murillo.
Yeah, that's fine. You did it.
Awesome.
Any attempt is like mad respect. Yeah.
Right. He is one
We
of
were
our
just talking
newest.
about that earlier today.
Well, I wrote it down. I was like, oh, I should message him. And then I'm like, well, I don't really know how he's not gonna be able to tell me through text. So whatever. I'll just like, yeah. But anyway, he's one of our newest Fable family members. He can be found playing Pawn on Vault42 and Golok on Wizards. Glad to have you, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm super excited. I'm a huge fan of Fawks Talks. Long-time viewer, first-time caller. So it's good.
Sweet. You are our only fan. It's dope.
Because he's not been here long enough to hate you yet.
I literally have to have a beg Solo each week.
I mean, I respect all people who wear their hats backwards and have a beard. So like, it's
well, check mark. Okay, so what we do typically on the first time you're on the show is just kind of an expanded introduction, how you sort of got into the tabletop world, how you came to Fable, that sort of thing. So what's your story?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go back to like the origin story of every for how I got into tabletops. It was in 2008. I was a nerd, super like wrecked with social anxiety and everything. And of course, all geeks looked at Dungeons and Dragons as the ultimate mecca for, you know, like how to be as nerdy as possible. Granted, LARPing is like a whole other level, but I didn't even think of like LARPing was existing at that time. So Dungeons and Dragons was the mecca, but no one knew how to actually get into it. They only heard that how difficult it was, and like you had to know someone in it. So finally, when 4th edition came out, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So I was working at like, you know, a grocery store, used my entire paycheck, which was like $100, to like go and buy the Dungeon Master's Guide, Monster Manual, and the Player's Handbook, and just like slogged through it. I was so stressed out because I was like, I wasted my money. I don't understand what any of these words mean. And then like, thankfully, after a lot of like rough sessions, I started to pick up on everything. And because I took the time to be a dungeon master, I've like been a dungeon master my like whole entire Dungeons and Dragons like you know, lifespan or whatever, because like, you know, everyone wants to just be a player and not a dungeon master. But it's been good though. So, and on a real talk, getting to play Dungeons and Dragons was one of the first times I've ever like gained self-esteem sort of thing, because like when I got to play with people, they were like, yo, you're really good at this, I love these sessions, can you please come back next time? And I was like, oh my god, I'm actually good at something. So it's like it was it's pretty dope. So it's been amazing. And then I've just been like, I've always, with my own brand, done charity events and everything like that, which led me to Utahime, who I've never met in person. We've been in the same building multiple times at conventions, but never actually exchanged words together. And then she was like, yo, I'll participate in your charity event. We had a great time. And then lo and behold, she ended up joining Fable42. And we've done like multiple things together. And then I was like, hey, how are they? Are they like pretty cool? And then and she's like, yeah, they're amazing. They're super cool. Like I would highly recommend, you know, you check it out and everything. And I was like, oh, dope. All right, I'll go and send like, you know, I'll go and send them a message. And then sure enough, like Chris hit me up and he's like, hey, can I talk to you on Skype? And I was like, oh God. And then like
the same thing to me, actually.
yeah. So I think he was just to everyone. So we talked for like 40 minutes about everything. And then it was like always good vibes. Everyone's so like kind and like helpful. And it legit is like a family sort of thing, but everyone has their own endeavors and everyone supports each other. So it's like all good stuff. It's good vibes.
Yeah, it's good. That's awesome. I didn't have, I don't know if you can guess this, but I didn't actually have a confidence issue, but not you. The issue that I had was a lack of interest in my area. So that was my problem. So the COVID thing has boosted my involvement in D&D just for that reason alone, is because everyone's sort of online now. So it's been good for me as well. Cool. Well, I'm gonna talk about some of your characters because they're amazing.
Sure.
Even though I make fun of them. Okay, so your first encounter as Pawn with any member of the Wasteland group, gang, whatever, was with Clay. So what was his like initial impression of Clay and then the other Wastelanders as well?
Yeah, so when when I got asked to be a part of like Vault42, I was like, yo, I'm gonna like pay this all the respect that I can. I'm gonna listen to all the podcast episodes. So like I'm legit a fan of Vault42 because I've listened to all the episodes and like and everything like that. So I thought about how I would actually interact with everyone. So with Clay, talking about Petra was like the first thing that came to mind, because obviously that's a huge trigger for him, and to try my best to be as add as much miscommunication as possible, to like just stir the pot as much as possible, you know. So it worked. It was like so good.
So good.
Like, yeah, jaw-dropping moment right up bed.
I was so excited for that, like that one line and like casual straight up expression just to that immediately was so perfect, and I was like, I'm so happy Pawn
My
is
jaw
here.
hit the floor.
I know.
Like, it was bad. I was like, oh my gosh.
It was really good. And then with everyone, you know, I try my best to as a person, I love playing characters who are brats, who like come into a room and then like knock everything over and then like just cause everyone to like react sort of thing. Yeah, right. So when I try to do that, I try to like whoever I was talking to do the opposite of what they like what the situation was. So for Tipper, who's like the kindest sweetheart, she's usually on the back burner for a lot of things, and then pull her to the front to be like, you're the leader of the gang, right? I will only respond to you. And then she's like, whoa, you know. And then And yeah, so like taking everyone and being able to like add that like not tension, but still like that reaction sort of thing.
No,
to
I
it.
love it because you somehow managed to push everyone's buttons, but not in an antagonistic way. You know what I mean? Like
I
it's just
know exactly.
put him on
yeah.
edge, but not.
Well,
not
he's
in a-
too damn happy. Like
That's what I
he's-
mean. Yeah.
He's too
Yeah.
damn positive. Like it's just, I mean, his interactions with Ash especially, I've enjoyed watching that because it's like you can tell Ash is like half, I mean, she's not half offended, she's
Yeah.
offended, but she can't do anything.
She doesn't know how
'cause
to. Yeah, you don't know how to
like-
react to
The
somebody like that. Kill him with
he's
kindness.
smiling.
Exactly. And then game wise, Pawn actually has more HP than Ash does. So like the best thing about it is that if he is, it doesn't matter what he says because like none of them can kill him like outright. So he
Right.
can survive, you know. And then so it's like fun playing that kind of character. That way I don't get like otherwise if I talked to Clay and said anything, he would just like stab me and murder me immediately if I was like a rogue
Sure.
or something. So
Sure.
it's good being a
I
nice
also
healthy
think it's great
barbarian.
that like this was maybe Marcus's last shot to have another straight-laced person in the group, and you just blew that out of the water. So like,
He's like, yes, another human, awesome.
Yeah.
And then like, yep, he's like, oh,
yep, no, he's
dang.
he's not normal at all. This is fantastic.
I'm sure Marcus will like me when I get him Jet, like whenever. he
Yeah,
asks
that's
for
true.
it, so.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, I hope Marcus doesn't go down that road.
I mean,
I
Oh,
know,
God,
right?
I hope he does.
Marcus, the look on
Oh.
Marcus's face when you were talking and playing with the explosives, like the sheer
Oh,
danger. He's like, "What are you doing?"
He's just
yep.
always uncomfortable.
He's
like
the dad.
always. He is.
and,
Yeah.
and I'm here for it.
He's a dad at like a teen house party. Like he just doesn't know what to do at any.
Yep.
at any given
And
moment.
Bugs Bunny just joined their party. Like
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just so excited.
Okay, cool. So let me see. So Palm was seeing what the Wastelanders can do. Okay, so who does he respect the most? I think we know the answer is probably Tipper from an outside standpoint. But like, is there somebody that he respects the most, like from battle and that sort of thing? Like, who's he respecting right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, like Tipper, because he believes full blown that she's the big boss, the gang boss, and everything like that. But secondly, is probably Ash because of her physical, like fortitude and like aptitude
And
and everything like
thighs.
that, and being able, those dummy thick thighs, and then like being able to see her like swing the sledgehammer as well and destroy things. Like that fitness routine is really what he's like. Oh
Yeah.
my god, like how many calories do you consume every day? So it's like pretty good stuff.
It's gonna be actually pretty interesting to see those two interact more because I think their personalities just don't go at all.
Yeah,
together, so
and
it's gonna be fantastic.
I'm excited because like obviously she has like 4 rules, which is like don't touch me, don't talk to me, no robots, and like whatever the other one was. But Pons,
But you don't know
like,
any of those yet, do you?
No, so and he doesn't
Oh.
give a shit. So if he might be like, got it, I'll make sure to do that, and then he'll forget immediately. And then
Yeah.
so like I have because I've always been dungeon master, never a player. Because I got to be a player, I was like, yo, I'm gonna put my all into this. So I made up a bunch of comedic bits. So like the first time they get into another combat session, he's just gonna like slap her on the back and be like, I bet I can kill more youth than you can, and just like piss her off as much as possible. So did he good?
Oh, cool, robot.
Yeah, exactly. It's my friend now. I'll protect him forever. Yeah.
You have so the dog is the dog going to be like that's going to be a constant thing? Is that like your companion?
Yeah, and that wasn't
technically,
even from my backstory. April was actually the one to be like, "Hey, in the room is a dog, and is it okay if it's your dog?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Do I get to choose?" Because at first I was like, what if I have like a like mastiff size corgi that like because of radiation grew exponentially, and I was like, that would be amazing, but I was like, no, I shouldn't do that. Oh well, let's go with boxer. And then like so it was like super good, and I'm stoked about it. Yeah
that's very cool. And I'm also interested to see what's the old line, like like the true measure of a person is how they treat like an animal or something like that. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
interested to see like how Ash I have a feeling I know what Tipper will do. Tipper's already tried to befriend a wild wolf before. But I'm interested to see how Ash and I have a feeling Marcus will gush over it as well. Which
Yeah.
is really cool. Okay, so your other character, Golok, is that how you say it?
Yes, Golok
Terrible
Spinebreaker.
Golok Spinebreaker. Loves goblin manga.
Mhm.
And he eats a lot when he's stressed.
Yes.
So I think this was Renee's question. What is his favorite food? And how does he feel about working with the popular kids now?
So yeah, his favorite food is grilled cheese. So it's like grilled cheese sandwiches. It's like super
Yeah.
super good, amazing.
Yeah.
And because
Magic grilled cheese.
exactly, yeah, dire grilled cheese, where it's like twice the size. But yeah, so I love it because I wanted to create a character that goes against the grain. So if you notice, the cast of actually like Wizards of Ukador, all 15 players, a majority are like either elves or human, dwarves, whatever else,
Sure.
which are common sort of races. I love that Rook was a Yuan-Ti and all these different things like that were like different races, and Goliath as well. So it was like it was pretty dope. So I was like, can I go like a super? Because also as a dungeon master and storyteller, and being like a person of color, I've seen for a long time that in Dungeons and Dragons, like the orcs, the goblins, anything that was different than like a fair skinned sort of race was yeah, exactly. Just because, and they usually had darker skin tones or like more tribal, savage sort of things that actually pull from various like cultures that a lot of minorities have. So. I always try to write those characters and do the opposite of it. They're like, this is a huge warband of orcs, but they're like super nice and they're like, diplomatic. They obviously have an intelligence score of like 13 or 14. So therefore they're willing to have complex emotions and conversations and everything. So when I came into Wizards of Ukador, I was like, I'm going to be a full-blooded orc, like wizard. And then Chris got with me. He's like, all right, so here's where my orcs are and everything. And there's like 2 sections. So do you want to be this one? And I was like, yeah, that's totally fine. And then same thing with like, his name is Golok Spinebreaker, which is a very traditional, like World of Warcraft, Warhammer sort of like orcish name. But then I made him to have his backstory as his clan like broke off from wars type stuff. And now are veterinarians. And they're like thriving as a franchise. Like they have a franchise of all these like veterinary clinics because there's a need for it, and they're like, we're gonna heal animals. That's
like
what
boxed brick and mortar shops, like in every
exactly
town.
Yeah, exactly. So and they're thriving because of it. So they make smart business decisions, and because that they're financially wealthy. So he is a noble, and he has like bronze jewelry and like all this sort of stuff all over him and everything. And but he personally wants to be back in the war times, even though he isn't built for it. Like that's kind of like the
I got
like
you.
season 1 and season 2 of like his explanation of where he was like, I'm gonna learn destruction magic and kill all my foes. And then when he saw like his homies die in the library and a bunch of other people die all over, he's like, you know what, maybe we should try to learn how to protect and stop magic a little bit. And then like so now that he's with the popular kids, it's he's kind of scared because he's like, shit always goes down wherever you guys gather. So like now I'm in this place, and now he definitely has his red shirt on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. I asked Renee this last week, and I'm curious to get your take on it too, because you've done it now twice. So how is it sort of just dropping into and actually you dropped into like some heavy
most intense
shit.
Yeah.
So like how was it to sort of just plop yourself down into these moments? Like how is that?
I always love, so one of my favorite an explanation of my storytelling whenever I write is kind of like Courage the Cowardly Dog. So in the show Courage the Cowardly Dog, it has a lot of horror elements that are terrifying, and then just like all these different things that make you so scared. And then right after that, there's a beat of comedy that breaks you out of the horror and like makes you laugh and be like, oh my God, that's, so silly, Right. That's kind of what I think when I play my character. So if there's a really strong, deep moment of a lot of emotion and everything like that, then what should be happening in the background that like is making him go like, oh shit, whoops, some sort of thing, whether he's piling his plate full of food and like devouring it, or like pissed off that there's no ranch, or like, some other thing to break the tension and then make it easy, because you can't have tension, otherwise things will get too like emotionally draining. So adding in that the random bit of comedy helps. There you go.
But see, I absolutely love, because I mean both Pawn and Golok have been that now, like I mean and they definitely participate in the serious moments when necessary, but I love, like especially in the situation, I think that's perfect, like kind of what both of those settings at that time needed, is a tension breaker and somebody I mean just even as a player, like and then as a viewer, like it was great to watch. And like I mean one of my favorite things and like was so telling about Golok though is like the combat's happening, he gets the kill, like you get to describe what happens and then you barf. And I was like, there it is. This is so good. Like, this is perfect.
Well, and I think honestly, like if you would have come in playing Pawn, like super hardcore gang member that is super serious, like whatever, I think you would have much more difficult time sort of assimilating into that group. I don't think that would have went over very well. But as it stands now, they're just like, whatever. You're you're kooky,
Pollyanna.
whatever. Just follow us
You
around.
can be
It's
mad
fine.
to us. You can come along. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so last question before we take a little short break to get the next guest. I have to ask. This is one that you proposed, so you can only blame yourself. I heard you give really good compliments, and I need an example of this by giving me a compliment.
It's
Of
hard.
course.
Good luck.
Yeah, I don't know what to
The
compliment. Oh my
lowest
god. Yeah,
bar.
no, I'll just go for it. So, Ronan, I want to take a moment to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being alive. Everything that you do, everyone whose life you impact is always like blessed because of it. You do whatever you can. You're such a chill dude. Like, admittedly, when I met you, I was intimidated because I was like, oh shit, like he might be like a super bro like dude that would be very like off-putting or whatever. And then like I got so like charming and like witty and creative and like super down to earth and chill. And I'm like to read your writing when you get done with your novel or anything like that, or even just like a beta reader or something like that. I'm like 100% down because you absolutely are such a creative soul and need to like thrive and that sort of thing. So, and I love your show. You bring good vibes and do a good job like recapping with comedy. So like, thank you for everything you do. You're amazing. Yeah.
He regularly makes
good.
people cry with his compliments.
That was good.
It was like all I could do, like whenever like he compliments, is just sit there of like, and anybody that knows me knows I'm bad at compliments. So I was like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna do it.
The words of
Very good.
affirmation, like
Yeah.
here's the truth. Here are your flowers. You deserve them. So like there you go, take them. And a lot of people are like, so that's good.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'll always take it. So,
Oh, you
yep.
okay?
yeah, I will always take the compliment.
Tee.
Shut up. Shut up.
Nope. Yeah, you
Nope.
said it.
All
All
right.
right, next guest, everyone.
Yeah,
while
no, I
Ronan-
appreciate it. Thank you so much. You are amazing. I'm so glad you're with the network now. I do love your characters, and I cannot wait to see what happens going forward. They are hysterical and definitely some bright spots in a serious
Two dystopian
emotional
worlds.
show. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, awesome, cool. So you'll be back with the group stuff. So just give us a couple seconds here to switch over, and we'll be back with our second guest, Eddie. Welcome back. Next up, we have Mr. Eddie Gilbert. You can see him every Wednesday on where he plays Eclipse, the Tabaxi Rogue, on Realms of Ugador. What's going on, Eddie?
Hey there, how's it going? Glad to be here.
What's up? I almost called you Eclipse because your name tag is Eclipse. So I just
I've come to the realization that I've played so many characters whose names start with E, and that was completely not by design.
That's true.
Really, I really thought that was intentional.
Nope, not intentional
quite the
whatsoever.
Kai level, but yeah.
Yeah, Kai's got a market on that first two letters. Cool. Well, I definitely want to talk about a couple things, but we'll get into some other stuff later. But I definitely want to get the very first thing I want to know is how Eclipse is feeling about the house cat Orion thing, and then being immediately flirted with like after that. Like what's his thought on Orion? Like where's he at with that?
So Eclipse always has really complicated thoughts about meeting new people just in general, and
Sure.
definitely is going to be a little bit miffed at the gall of someone coming in and calling him a house cat. But at the same time, doesn't quite know what to make of this new person just yet. All that they know at this point is that this is a stranger, kind of not really sure whether or not we trust them just yet. They seem well-intentioned, but that also is an easy way to kind of, get someone to stab you in the back. The flirting thing in and of itself, Eclipse is a weird individual when it comes to any sort of signs of affection just in general.
Sure.
they
broken.
Same Eclipse, same.
they're I mean, they came from a very disturbing background just in general, and they the way that I've kind of described it to other people before is that essentially Eclipse is one of the because he's still very young. He's
Sure.
only 18 years old, but it's definitely been one of those individuals that has been forced to grow up way too quickly. Kind of had like a stolen childhood, so to speak, where
Right.
they've had to kind of mature, and they're kind of an old soul in a very young body. But as such, they've never really been exposed to physical affection or just, you know, words of affirmation in this sense. So honestly, Nafako is the first person that Eclipse has had any sort of positive interaction with. So
Right.
their overall progress with the Good Buddies has helped with that, and has helped them kind of become, I'm still calling them the Good Buddies. It's so ingrained in me at this point.
Nope. I refuse.
I know, but it's, I mean, we've finally reached the point where there are other people that Eclipse is forming meaningful connections with and learning to care about other people. But the
Right.
notion of flirting in general is still kind of a foreign concept at this point.
So that probably maybe went over his head
Over
a
his
bit.
head.
Yeah.
Oh, completely. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure whether this is just a significance of trauma that is still being worked through and developed, but it's entirely possible that Eclipse might even be on the ACE spectrum.
Mm.
But I'm not entirely sure of that just yet.
Well, and with that, like, because you mentioned like Nafako being the first person, you've already and everybody suspects
Yeah,
things.
it's the next question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, I
one
knew this
wanna
question
know.
was coming at some point.
I want to know.
So is there something more between Eclipse and Nafako? Like, where are his feelings with that?
That is a incredibly complicated question to answer, but the best.
Yeah, think.
Well, I would
yes.
also say like whether or not he's aware of it, but you, Eddie, do you think there is something more?
So the long and short of it is that, as mentioned in the previous question, Nafako is the first real positive. Human is the wrong word, but person-to-person
Correct.
interaction, that Eclipse has had with another person, basically, that hasn't resulted in some sort of significant trauma or some sort of negative outcome. So there's definitely sort of this kindredness that sort of developed right off the bat. I mean, even before Eclipse knew that light was somewhere in there, there was definitely still this connection that they felt right at the very beginning.
Sure.
But there's also been this pivotal theme overall, which is this idea of, you know, what makes a monster and what makes a person. Nafako has been convinced this whole time that they're a monster, and Eclipse is convinced to the contrary. And Eclipse feels the exact opposite about themselves.
Right.
Eclipse believes themselves to be a monster, and Nafako has been, and amongst others, have been convincing them otherwise slowly over the course of time. But beyond that, Eclipse being exposed to this, you know, this kindness and this, you know, innocent soul that has basically just been an amazing experience for them, has definitely developed, you know, feelings of compassion for them, if nothing else. And whether or not that develops into something more kind of remains to be seen. That definitely became complicated when they discovered that their sister is in there amongst other people.
Yeah.
So they're kind of in this perpetual limbo where, like, there might be something more to how they feel about Nafako, but they're also torn by the fact that sisters in the same body, and that's kind of weird. Plus, also not really sure how to process these feelings in general, because what is
Sure.
affection?
Sure. Is he like on some level? I know this is going to sound terrible, but like on some level, is he still kind of waiting for Nafako or even anybody, the rest of the group, to kind of just do the thing that he's anticipating them doing, which is like let him down or turn on him, or like is he? I don't imagine he's fully over this sort of hump yet.
It's definitely something that they carry in the back of their mind constantly. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't call what the discovery of what happened with, you know, discovering Nafako's origins and all that as a betrayal, so to speak, but there's definitely that slight semblance of, you weren't the person that I thought you were initially.
Right.
And, you know, there's still definitely a lot of complicated feelings regarding that. Also, even just accepting the fact that light is actually in there, and this isn't just, you know, some trick or some ploy to try to, manipulate them or something.
Right.
So there's definitely a little bit of that underlying there, but at the same time, time after time again, Eclipse has been, whether they intended to or not, developing these connections with the rest of the group that they did not anticipate making, and finding this kindredness and this shared trauma and these aligned goals that have been making them come to realize that, all right, maybe there are people that I can actually form meaningful connections with. I'm still not entirely sure that I can completely let down the shield, but at the same time,
it's got a little bit of like leftover like confirmation bias, like because like the Nafika thing, or the light within Nafika was clearly not her fault, but
Right.
you're like, you're using that to say, oh, see, you weren't telling me the
Yep.
truth. even
Yeah,
though she couldn't really-
people are going to eventually let me down at some point, and it's
Yeah.
unavoidable.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's sad. Okay, speaking of sort of being let down.
Oh, wow, that's a transition right there.
I'm
mean,
I'm
he's
getting better.
getting
I'm getting better.
I guess.
Okay, so where does Eclipse think his parents went? Like, what's sort of the status? Solo's face palming right now.
That's a great face right there.
I'm a professional, damn it.
It's
Yeah.
that's also another interesting question right there, because honestly, when Eclipse had their confrontation with the Artificer, they were honestly so ready to believe that the words that the Artificer spoke were true. Like it was kind of, again, like that whole confirmation thing where it's like, I know my parents are dead. I know my parents are dead. I killed your parents. Okay, yeah, you're the asshole who did it. I knew it was true. Ha.
Yeah.
But the realization after the fact, especially after seeing what had happened with Carrick and his father, sort of, it's this weird thing where like there's that slight beacon of hope, especially again after accepting that light's okay, so maybe there might be some hope that maybe we might be able to reconnect with them again after all. Hard to say that we would know what happened to them, because the last thing that Eclipse remembers is getting separated from his family and has no real clues, no real breadcrumbs or anything to follow to figure out what might have happened to them. So honestly, at this point, we wouldn't really even know where to start.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, and I guess that kind of answers this question, but I was kind of wondering why, like anytime he gets to a new town, he doesn't really put out feelers for anything. But if he's just completely lost as to where to even start, then I agree. I don't even know what you would do.
It's the part of it's also just the fact that, I mean, even with Light, just accepting the fact that Light is in fact still alive and having to let go of the notion of the fact that she's dead and having to sort of open themselves back up to the notion of the fact that they still exist in and of itself was trying enough, to the point of trying to do that with other connections that he had lost as well would have just been, I mean, it's that whole thing of allowing themselves the vulnerability for hope, which has just been a challenging notion in its own right, but they've been slowly working towards.
How long were Eclipse and Light separated from each other?
Let's see, if I remember correctly, it was about 10 years.
Okay, all right. So there are plenty of like additional memories and things that you could stumble across as Light becomes fuller, however you say it.
Potentially, yes. I don't think was it made clear how old Light was when this happened? Because I don't think that it was ever fully established just yet.
I don't think so. Although I want it now. I'm thinking in my head like, no, I don't know. No, I don't know.
Because I think that's still been remained a mystery up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's plenty of stuff that could have happened in between there that could be revealed by Light. Sorry. I'm gonna quit now.
Really?
Sorry. Okay, so all right, let's just put all that trauma to the side.
Yeah,
fast.
trauma.
Trauma to the side.
Yeah, no trauma. You got to. What you have to do with trauma is you have to sweep it really far underneath the rug, and then and then bottle
or
it up.
drink it, and then you're fine.
And then it goes away, and you're all better.
And then
right?
it goes away. You just forget about it, and it never comes back. All right, so Ebdar, give us a little like. I guess that is tragic too.
It's funny. I never wrote all these characters with the intention of them, being severely traumatized. But this is Dungeons and Dragons, and here we are.
That's true.
Blame Solo.
Let's just all right. Well, then I hope that this is good. So, what is Ebdar up to? What's going on with him? Where did he go?
Well, unfortunately, I wish I could give a happier answer, but
Sorry.
yeah, cough, cough.
Solo.
Great.
What did you do?
Great.
You did not
So-
hurt Ebdar.
So many things.
Taken and manipulated.
Honestly, the events of Ascension were definitely really traumatizing for Ebdar. I mean, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But at this point, they're on a journey to process what's happened and to come to terms with the events of what had transpired. I mean, losing someone that you care about is never easy, and the circumstances, especially under which it happened, I mean, that's a hard thing to get over.
Sure.
And at this point, things are kind of open-ended. He may return to the school at some point, although that might prove challenging under current circumstances.
Right.
Considering that, you know, I don't think we're on the same plane of existence anymore.
He just
That's
needs
true.
to reach out and ask for help.
Now I'm thinking, like, what the hell is Solo doing? That's all I can think about. He's
I-
the real artist.
It's still Solo. Like, I mean,
Hashtag blame Solo.
yes.
All right, cool.
that face every time. That's the DM gotcha face.
All right. So what? Okay, let's make this one happy. What can you tell us about the game you'll be running for FableCon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes notes.
He's like, no, it's an absolute train wreck. and
No,
everybody
it's
gets mad."
terrifying probably, but takes notes.
So the thing that I can tell you about the session that I am doing for FableCon is that it is going to be a commoner campaign. So all the characters are going to be essentially going through a quick level up series where they're going to be pre-adventurer like commoners. It'll
Okay.
be a quick session from, you know, level 1 to 6, at which point when they reach level 6, that will be I'm a level 1 adventurer. And it takes place in the wonderful town of Sunnytown, where everything's wonderful all the time. And the people there, I mean, pretty much the most exciting thing that happens in the town of Sunnytown is the day that the baker decides to put sesame seeds on their rolls. So this is definitely a
Oh,
very,
Lord.
you know, yeah, this is a wonderful, like, nothing exciting happens here at all. And why would you ever want to leave the comfort of this town? However, if for some reason this wonderful, comfortable life isn't for you, you can always go to the academy, which is where all adventurers go to potentially train themselves and work themselves up towards being prepared for the horrors of the world that are out there. And they have a 100% retention program. No one ever returns from it.
Oh God. Awesome.
I'm so excited.
No, that sounds awesome.
'Cause then I get to return the favor.
But it also
Oh yes,
does
no,
not- it does
I'm
not sound happy.
whatever I ditch out, I'm gonna get threefold on Sunday. I know it.
It's like step for wives meets hostel. All right, cool.
I'm very excited for this to be my first stream session.
Yeah, you know, and that I will say that there's quite a buzz. I think a lot of people are excited for it, so I can't wait to see it. So,
No pressure.
no-
Sure. I mean,
Fine.
ditto. I'm
Whatever.
also the FableCon is also my first one, so I understand. I get you.
well, I'll be there to heckle you both. You can
Fantastic.
rest assured.
Wouldn't have
Yeah.
it any other way.
You're welcome. All right, now that I'm properly sad, let's go ahead and take a second little break. Thank you, Eddie, so much for coming. Join us here in just a second. We'll do the group game thing, but we're going to take another short little break, and we'll be back with our third guest. You may know him.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. The light is so shiny on mine. Anyway, well, welcome back. Last but certainly not least, we have the casual Jordan Campbell, cosplaying as me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doing my
So-
best at least.
it's so good. Anyway, you can watch him on like everything. He plays Clay on Vault42, Rex on Legends, and Himian on Wizards. Welcome to the
And-
show. How's it going?
Olden and Middle Earth.
Oh God, yes. I always forget I did that with Lindsay too. Yeah, on Middle Earth. So, and then, well, we'll get to that here in a minute. Anyway, what's going on?
You know, I have no idea. I just
Thank you.
spend most of my time writing and rolling dice. So I don't actually know what's happening around
Sure.
me.
Things are happening. Well,
Things are
thank you
happening.
for allowing me to be on your show.
You know what? I'm glad to have you as a guest on the Casual Talks with Ronan Fawks show.
It's great. It's great. Anyway, so let's talk about some of your characters.
Let's do this. I'm not ready. I already know I'm not gonna like this.
Probably not. So I asked D'Angelo. I got to ask you the reverse of the question. What is Clay's first thought of Pawn?
I could say that Clay doesn't like Pawn at face value.
Sure.
And it's not because of the Petra thing. That's just the extra.
Lies.
That's just added.
It's the thorn of cherry added on top.
Yeah.
Well, Clay comes from a very like specific built background where you have to be a certain way, be a certain type of person, and it's about being a little more serious. And after meeting Pawn, who seemed to take nothing serious,
Right.
but is serious about that lack of seriousness.
Yeah, he's
It's kind of-
genuine in his like stupidity.
Yes, and that kind of rubs Clay the wrong way because it's like, how are you still alive?
Yeah, right. Okay.
And like that's where he's sitting. He's like, he looks at Pawn like, you seem like you can handle yourself in a fight, but you also seem like you have maybe 2.5 brain cells, and they're both fighting for the last thought to be shared.
Right.
Or the skin of
Yeah.
his teeth.
And that's like,
Yeah.
like
And
he
metal
has no
plates,
like
probably.
negative feelings towards Pawn, but he's just, the best way to put it is flabbergasted that this man has both survived 5 different gangs.
Sure.
It's
And not like survive. He's thrived through them. He's
Yeah.
the only one to survive those gangs.
like not just survive the wasteland, but thrive. All right, I guess.
Yeah. I can't wait. I know obviously Clay's got a lot like sort of on his plate right now. So, but I can't wait till
there-
all that sort of settles down and then he gets to know.
And that is the
so.
biggest thing. Clay's got a lot going through his mind on everything else going on. That
Sure.
he can't compartmentalize it at the moment.
Clay
Yeah,
is an
right.
angsty boy.
I mean,
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons for that, I guess. So speaking of that, so how does he feel now that his sort of secret's out?
well, it's
Now
oddly
that the ghoul
relieving.
is out of the bag.
How the ghoul is out of the bag. It's one of those. It's like he's not been ashamed of what it is, but
Sure.
he knows how people feel about ghouls. And after having dealt with, I believe his name was Henry Harrison.
Henry is the husband.
Yeah, Henry.
At the
After
farm?
dealing with Henry and how like everybody was immediately on it, he's just concerned on that fact of people being like, wasteland, ghoul, kill it, don't ask questions.
Sure.
And that's a big deal because he's not from Texas, and where he's from, he's dealt with that due to like his complexion already. So
Okay,
being a ghoul also makes him nervous.
Right. He's
Like he already had the
double-dipping.
inherent issues of like the racial tension, and now he's a ghoul, and he's like, there's 2 points against me right now.
So, and you probably want to answer this, but I gotta ask. So, was he a ghoul on his travels to find his mom, or was it before that?
It did not happen until after he started his journey.
Okay,
Traveling through the wasteland caused issues.
gotcha. Ooh, gosh, when he reunites with his super hick mother, they're that's gonna be
It's gonna
awkward.
be interesting.
Yeah.
Indeed. We're gonna
Yeah.
see if it's truly a
How do
faith only
you
a
know
mother can
she's
love.
hick?
Oh, dude, have you heard the accent? God bless. Anyway,
For
Terrible,
those
I
who
can't
can't
even-
see me, I'm flipping Ronan off.
I can barely understand a word she says. Anyway, that's if he finds her, because she obviously is still trying
It's
to
a big
avoid
if.
him.
There's already been about, I think we've established that there's a 5-year differential.
Right, yeah, that's true. You're
for
literally
being
finding
awake.
stuff from like half a decade ago that she's
And
not.
unless you're Pawn, the wasteland is not good to you.
That's true. That's
Exactly.
true.
Pawn has been
He's like
blessed
the
by
guy
good
with
luck.
like, he's the guy that just dumped all of his points into the luck like thing at the
Yes.
start of the game. Yeah.
Because I don't need
Sure.
stats, I just need the luck. What you mean? I
Luck.
got this.
Yep. Yeah, cool. All right, so moving on to Rex. Let's talk about Rex.
Yes.
Oh no, I just realized. Oh god. All right. Anyway, does Rex feel like he is on the right path?
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell you that without any spoiler of any kind, not even a little bit,
Really?
not even the slightest.
What's giving him pause?
Yeah. What's giving him
Well,
quote unquote pause?
Pause.
Taryn earmuffs it.
Essentially, Rex came for the last 17 years of his life, roughly, with a very clear plan.
Right.
Go through life enough, and the events will start your adventure to become the god that you're told you're supposed to be. Follow these steps, be this type of person, read these books, follow this, so on and so forth. This is how deification happens. Then he finds out that the person who's been guiding him has been Vecna. Then the traveler shows up and says, hey, I got you. All while he's been praying to Agma. And then Ayamadin, who made the gods, was like, by the way, everybody's wrong. Do it your own way. And now he's like, so Carson told me one thing. Gods tell me another. You're telling me this. I got Vecna telling me that. No one's giving me a straight answer. And
It's
one's
almost as if no one wants you to become a god.
Yeah. So now he's a 17-year-old, about to be 18 in several more months, with no idea what to do with his life because he spent his entire life following some godlike plan, and now he's told, just live your life. And he's like, what does that even mean? It's the equivalent of graduating high school and saying, well, what college are you going to? Like, did I have to do this? What's your career? I don't know.
Yeah.
I got all the best grades, and now I'm told that the school I wanted to get to won't accept me.
Yeah, right. It's weird. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be really kind of pissy to like have your path be so clear only to find out that it's a damn circle. Like,
Exactly.
it's just-
Like he did everything perfectly just to find out, like, oh yeah, all that just BS. Just do it. Just you'll figure it out. And it's like, what does that even? What do I do?
yeah,
then?
right.
And keep in mind, he's a 17-year-old who just got his first girlfriend, among other things, and has
A lot of
literally
firsts.
and has been face to face with a god and an Ayamadin who made the gods. Yeah. All before he turned 18. He's not feeling good about any decision at this point.
Sure.
No decision?
Oh.
Okay. Well, Jinx is in here. I'm gonna need you to stop.
Yeah, but I'm just
That's
that
true.
was a Terran question of like, so no decision?
Well, every decision has been part of the plan, or at least.
Oh, God.
Hey,
How does that feel? How does that feel?
hey, you know what? That
I
sounds
don't have
Jesus.
feelings.
that
it's
sounds
fine.
very familiar. There was another character that had a god complex that had plans too, and things didn't end
Yeah.
up very well in that relationship.
I can tell you, it doesn't go well. Doesn't end well.
The problem is,
No,
I've been
Terran is-
taking advice from Vecna, who didn't do his plan right.
That's
So
true.
Rex is already
That's
like,
true.
all right, God, I'm listening to the wrong guys. It's peer pressure from the worst possible person.
Terran is already
True.
well prepared for Rex to do whatever Rex is gonna do that will eventually like decimate Jinx, probably.
Sure.
Like,
And I just had a realization. You are the child of divorce, but the parents are Vecna and Anna.
oh,
So they're going to both vie for your attention. And your
Oh, I
love.
didn't even consider, like, that is the, like, right now, that God complex that Rex had is definitely gone to the point that it's not that he doesn't want it, he doesn't know what to do with it. But yeah, he's got gods, wannabe gods, people hunting wannabe gods, and elemental deities saying like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, wait, I didn't sign up for this. I thought I would just hit puberty and become a god. I thought that's how this works.
Right.
Don't forget to throw ex-boyfriends in there too.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And then
That
there's
apparently may or may not
ex-boyfriend-
be able to come back.
right? So we got an old friend
God,
of
there's
his
so much
girlfriend that
dark.
shows up. Her ex is possibly capable of coming back, all while the Queen of Shadows is talking to him, reading books with him. Vecna's been whispering to him. Traveler saying he literally has so many extraplanar deities just talking to him at once, sliding in his DMs, and he's like,
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
freaking fun. And again, like Jinx's ex is sliding up into her DMs in her sleep. Like, what? Poor Rex,
Oh, God.
y'all.
Rex is living a high school drama in the most fantasy way possible.
Talk to Kaz. Talk to Kaz.
It's okay. You guys are gonna be in when Rex decides to stop reading books because they don't give him the answers he needs. We're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So how does he feel about Anna? Just out of curiosity, no extra reason.
Honestly, Rex feels like Anna is and this is gonna sound so bad, is one of the few people, one of maybe 3 that understand him at all because of the books.
Ah,
Everyone always made fun of him for being the reader, not doing other things than reading. And this is the first person who's like, no, books. Yeah, I got you. Read these and so on.
so
So then
Vecna needs to talk to you about his time in school. Got it.
That's it.
got it,
Like
got it.
Vecna's been like becoming a god, and Anna's like, what about books? And Rex's like, oh, books? Yeah, no, never mind. Vecna, go
Sure.
away.
So she's just
Well-
offered something that is like common. Like she's the first one to like
To
talk to you
not
about your interest.
Well, that's why he likes Jinx, because Jinx doesn't look at him as this god figure or as anybody more than Rex. And
Right.
Anna, this being of some possible high-end power, is treating him like a normal person.
Sure.
No one treats Rex like a normal kid. Everyone treats him as this person who's either going to be a god or speaking too much about a god, tell him to know his place. And everybody's like, no, just read books and have fun, be you.
In his defense, he doesn't, or I guess in their defense, he doesn't make it easy. Like
He doesn't. He does. He does not. He
Yeah.
will not. He cannot.
Sure.
If you read the features and his personality traits, you would understand that he's designed to be annoying.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know how many times I've called him like the walking Google or whatever. So
I'm just so
um,
excited. Like, I'm so excited. Like, and it's kind of fun, like hearing all of this too, because like, I mean, Jinx's like current story and like the way she's developing is heavily tied up in Rex. So like, he's a mess, and so that reflects, I mean, definitely in Jinx. And like, I have 2 ideas, and I've pitched part of it to Diane, but like, some of it is like, yeah, depending on how she copes, and just saying, like.
Yep. I'm excited for all
Alright.
of that.
When
How did-
Rex
how
gets
did he
his
feel-
first word fastest, we'll be fine.
How did he feel when Weesage was just like, yeah, here, Jinx, take the room?
Oh, he was heated. I wouldn't even say angry. There's the amount of rage that filled his body would dwarf Vecna's rage towards Travanis. That's how mad it made him.
Did any of it bleed over to I almost called her Volrug, to Jinx?
There was a bit of like anger, not anger. Anger is the only word I could think of, because he had this plan and then it seemed like it made sense. He had reached a point where the next step was about to be taken, and Weesage said, "Oh yeah, no, I'm going to give it to someone else." It's literally
Right.
like your
And she took
dream
it.
is
Like
you.
she took it. Like,
Yeah,
thank you,
Rex has
thank
been
you.
saying, "This is my future. This is what I dreamed of," and then Weesage said, "I'm gonna give it to someone else" in front of him and be like,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's a lot going through his mind, which is why he had to read books.
Sure. Oh, that's true. He just bolted. I didn't even realize like there was no Jinx. Ooh. Ooh.
Mhm.
All right.
He
Cool.
needed
Well-
to read. He needed to make sense of things, and books is the only place that can give him straight answers, because no one gives him straight answers.
Interesting.
Like, well, yeah, and I mean, like, even like as a player, 100% noticed. That's why there was a dice roll when Jinx was alone, and there was one of 2 things, and she chose the better. There was one of 2 options there.
And
Right.
It's so much
And I
fun.
don't know-
I
I
love
mean, I
the
don't know-
dynamic between. It's fun.
And Diane just put in chat, which is true. He went to read with another woman. So,
He did.
It is.
so-
Jinx doesn't know that, but all that
I
matters.
mean, she was there. She heard the conversation.
Oh,
she was
I
like,
love this.
"Whew."
I'm literally in the middle in the screen and on my
There were
screen,
were
so it's
2
fun.
possible people that Jinx was gonna go talk to in the room. She ended up choosing the Isle of Modern.
Feel the virtual tension.
You know, that's okay. That's as long as she talks to the water, not the shadows. All is well.
You always have Witcher cast.
What about
All right,
talking,
anyway?
What about talking to the light?
Oh
Ooh,
yeah,
geez.
there's one person trying to, or did successfully? Question mark. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Rex is going to walk into the twilight and just call it there.
Speaking of Twilight, I don't. No, that's not a transition.
That's
anyway,
Say,
No,
say,
take it
say
away.
that word again. I'm gonna cancel the show.
oh right, sorry, forgot.
Hashtag Team Jacob. Continue.
Steve Jacob. Himian. So what? So okay. I don't know. I just kind of want to know what you're thinking about tonight. Like where's Himian's thoughts right now?
So sad thing is, for the last 3 weeks, I have been trying to figure that out myself.
Sure.
Because the last thing he sees is what he believes to be one of his best friends decapitated.
Sure.
And then the other one, who he considered a friend, abandoned him.
Sure.
Then someone that he considered close left with someone else.
Right.
And he is currently confused on what the next part of his life, because he was determined to believe that Rook and Thegan had a plan that included him, and then found out the first people he considered friends were like, oh, you're not part of our plans. After coming from a culture where they looked at a half ape, half tiefling, half Asimar as an abomination not worth being friends for, he went to this college because he killed someone for saying that he doesn't belong, and then finally has friends that did not include him. And it made him so angry that all the roles led to his devil side coming full out. So yeah, Hemian's doing great.
I mean,
I feel bad
he's-
for Leo.
he's there.
Leo's gonna have to like really unpack all of that.
Oh God, Leo.
Hemian
Okay, but-
Hemian has never had his first friends were Rook and Thegan.
Right. So anyway, Rex and Jinx, that's crazy, right?
I mean, to be fair, there's somebody holding on to.
Well, that's
you
what I want to
know.
ask. So what does he think about the, like, do we know what the implications are of, I don't even know if we are allowed to talk about this yet, but do we know what all those implications are with Rook being gone?
Which ones?
What?
Yeah, which part?
Well, okay, so the agreement that Himian and Rook shared.
hmm
So Hemian
hold
is gone. For Hemian's perspective, he literally has been robbed by both Thegan and Rook, because he was part of a plan, and the items given were meant to help for the goal for everyone, and everyone left and gave him nothing.
Does Trayvonis have it now?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh my
but
God.
Hemian doesn't know
Yeah.
any of this.
Well,
So
and
Sure.
perspective,
Hemian,
he said,
yeah.
I trust you, Rook, with my life, and then Rook died without the ring, and Thegan disappeared.
Well, and that's the thing is Hemian doesn't know that Travonis has
right.
that and is keeping her word.
Hemian
Can we
knows
say
nothing.
what it is so that
Yeah.
people know?
I mean,
and
Yeah.
not
it
spoil
was
it?
canon. They talked about it in the episode.
Okay, I
before
couldn't
the
remember. I just
ascension.
didn't want to spoil it.
It's a
So it's a
phylactery.
phylactery. It's
Rook
phylactery.
has or had Hemian's phylactery. The thing is, his phylactery is very distinct because it's been decided that his phylactery isn't a normal phylactery. It's not like a, normal how Lich's phylactery, when you die, you come back undead. He did a special ritual to ensure it would do a little more than that to prevent bad things from happening. But to him, someone literally took his life away.
Sure.
And that was the item at the end of the Frostguard ascension. As she was putting the hand and the eye into the chest, she pulls out the ring, smiles, and puts it back in.
So Hemian has been betrayed by his mother, his father, his sister, and his first best friends.
Rook didn't betray shit. Rook died.
And
Glad
not
I
only
could do
that,
that for you.
technically, Hemian can revive, but his magic won't work. So then he's going to blame Thegan for that.
Yeah. I was
Because
just, he's an
Hemian has the ability to preserve a body, then actually revive someone, as long as he can preserve the body in time.
Yeah, but you can't
Well-
do that to a phylactery.
well, and I feel
He doesn't
so
come away
like
from him. He can't do anything about it.
Hemian is one of the characters, like really, like both as a viewer and as a player, like he hurts you guys. Like I'm like going into this, like, and that's the thing too, is like all 2 new members and all kinds of stuff is like one of the things I've prepped for is like the level of hurt that Hemian is going to be feeling.
Because, like, I want to put his
I don't
perspective,
care at
like,
all. No, I'm kidding.
Like, DeAngelo made a good point about, like, making a race or somebody that's normally seen in a certain way and trying to change it up. So Hemian is a being that's looked at negatively. Being a tiefling and blended with Celestial makes him seem worse. No one likes him. And then he's a school of necromancy. Everyone already thinks he's a monster, and now he looks like one. And the only person who seems to actually still care about him is Khalees. but he sacrificed his relationship with Khalees to please his friends, who then left him.
Oh Jesus.
And that's
Well-
why you get two really adorable, cute new friends that are.
That's right.
Yeah, I get
Ari's
adorable.
been there, by the
Right.
way. Everyone just forgets she exists.
I have no idea what Cookie. Solo said he knows how Cookie got there. I don't know, so we'll see. We'll have to find out.
I
So, yeah,
just
Hemi
that's yeah.
is
Like,
Cookie,
not
Cookie talks in third person, by the way. Just a heads up.
oh dear God. I
It's
just
okay.
like
Hemian looks like a literal dark blue demon from hell.
that
So,
was my question actually. One of my out of curiosity was what Hemian is his I'm sure you'll describe, but what his visage is currently.
well, now he's more basically his celestial side has been shut down. So his skin is darkened, his eyes are now red, there's red tones to his hair, and his wings have protruded. They've come back, but they're more of a skeletal form because of the nature of his infernal coming out.
Well, Cookie smells like brownies. So
And he's likely to be burned alive by Hemian, because Hemian wasn't an edgelord until,
well, you have to take that place. The two main ones left.
Yeah. I'm taking the place
Ari's
of both
on.
edges.
Don't worry, we'll see.
Oh God, of course you'll make Ari.
I didn't want to. It's Solo's fault.
How did
I don't
that
know.
make- she's not
Ari
an
has
edgelord.
plans.
She's a Star Lord. She's not an edge lord.
Exactly. Edgy's not gonna happen. Ari does have plans, hopefully, because that is one thing. There are a couple of people gonna be real hurting, and
Sure.
Hemian got done wrong, you guys.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting, because I always say Hemian's a good person, and I joke, but I mean he means well, but the people that he gives the wrong people a chance to help him be a better person.
Yeah. Yeah. The writing was on the wall with those two. You shouldn't trust them.
Travanis is right there, honey.
No,
He doesn't know.
No.
Oh, he
gross.
can reach out.
She's evil.
I
my
can lend
God,
you a
every time she
hand.
has to say it. Anyway, we're gonna wrap that up there. We're gonna tie that in a bow. Definitely nice little preview for what happens right after the show. So we'll take another quick break. I'm gonna come back with all three guests. And we'll play a little game. Welcome back. Got all three of my guests here. We're going to play a little game to end the show. We're going to try to do that and have some fun. I think what we'll do tonight is we'll do a version. Oh, welcome back again. Sorry, technical issues. So we're back. Like I said, we're going to play a little game. So we're going to do a version of Heads Up, I think. So what I'll do is we'll start with D'Angelo. And when I tell him, he'll close his eyes, and I will show into the camera a character from one of the shows. And that is who he will be. And then he will have to ask us questions that we will give answers to. And that way he can try to guess who he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's from
So
one of the
that-
Fable shows.
Yeah, we'll do it from the Fable
Okay.
show. Yeah. All right, cool. So give me a second here. I gotta think about it for a second.
I know
Oh, hold
Wizards and Vault42, slightly some Legends of all. The rest, no.
It's all good.
Rumor break.
I
I'm
got
gonna
you.
get
It'll be good.
Fingers crossed you get one of my characters. They're easy.
Right?
Yes, you have completely one-dimensional characters that are absolutely 100% easy to understand in one
Yeah,
session.
that's
Does he
accurate.
sound
Okay.
like Uhtred from Bedburg?
Okay, D'Angelo, close your eyes. Oh no, he's frozen. I can't tell if he's closing his eyes.
I trust him.
I trust him. I'm gonna go ahead and show it.
All right. Oh, all right.
So that's who he'll be if he comes back. If not, we'll move on to the next one. Oh no.
D'Angelo, come back to us.
It is just a solid pose, however.
It is.
It
It's not
is.
like one of
It's
That's how I
also
usually
very
do.
on brand. That's a very D'Angelo
Right? It's
pose
like
right
on.
there.
Hold on, let me get my pose.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone now. He's a All right, let's try this again. All right, so we'll do Eddie first. We're gonna go ahead and move on with D'Angelo. He has some internet issues, so sorry. Next time, brother. All right, so Eddie, you're first. Give me a second. There's so many good ones.
Gotcha, Eddie. Keep him close. Keep him close.
No, don't. You don't have to close it yet. I'll tell you when.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I was getting so excited just with the anticipation of having my eyes closed.
Right?
Okay, now close them.
Easy,
Oh,
Luca.
okay.
Easy, Luca. Easy.
Excited with anticipation.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Eddie. You can
Okay.
ask us
All right.
anything. Yep, go ahead. So,
All right. Am I on Wizards?
no.
Okay,
This is weird.
cool.
God, now I'm like, do I tell the person is? But-
No, because it's not the person.
Yeah.
It's the
This
character.
is a
No,
this is
that's
a
true.
character, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
The human is, but
Cool. All right. So let's see. Am I on Realms?
yes.
Would I be considered an angsty character?
I mean, I would say yes.
And I would say no. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I could see it.
All right. Am I someone who tends to associate with seedier individuals?
Or no, not
Now,
really.
no.
Okay. All right.
Now, no.
Do I have a good would you say that I have an overall positive relationship with most of the good buddies?
I mean, what do we consider positive, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would say yes. Yes.
Would I be
Lizzie said-
considered
said
the group's dad?
Yeah.
Who would say
probably.
yeah?
Yeah.
Am I Carrick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah, definitely the group dad. For sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess
Wonderful.
he kind of hangs out with never do wells, but that I guess that moment.
I mean, a better question would have probably been, do I frequent thieves' cant? But
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, let's do casual.
And I'm not going to try to ask what show I'm on. Taking the easy.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
all right,
okay.
all right.
Was that? I'm sorry.
I didn't set any rules. I don't care. Let's see.
I'm going to make it challenging for me.
Fair. Going hard mode.
Alright.
Love it.
Give me a second.
One.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
One. Can you think?
Trying
I do
to,
that?
I'm going through the shows, trying to pick somebody good.
Just don't pick someone bad.
Is it someone who betrayed all his friends? Is it someone who got duped into godhood by losing his eye and hand and will forever be on a quest to find his eye and hand or will
All
never
right,
ascend?
shut up. Close your eyes.
Okay, look, you got to stop giving away all the clues for Rex. That's extra. All right.
All right, you're good. You're good.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to try just the offhand to guess the person first before I go
Hold
down.
on.
Big brain moves. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Am I pawn?
No.
No.
Am I a caster?
Caster? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Is
like
it?
a spell caster or
Yeah.
am I a wizard?
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I don't think that's changed, right?
I guess not.
So I would assume yes.
Yes. Yes.
Did I attend Venrium College?
Yes.
You asked what show you.
Nice workaround, like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
I won't ask
Casual
what show,
workaround.
but
Am I still a student of Venrium College?
you're gonna specify. Are you talking about in the
Based
time of
on-
realms?
In terms of wizards,
Yes.
am I House Moonlander?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I Anna?
Yes. But I gotta.
Ding,
I gotta.
Yeah, you got to show him. You got to show him because that was just extra.
Hold on.
Did he put
Okay.
Anna with salt next to it?
Yes, but not in the way that you think. There's Anna with salt.
Ah. So I am, and I have to correct it. I am Anna.
Yeah, and you know you should. Yeah.
Excuse me,
Yeah, she already
Anna.
did. She did it. In
Yep,
chat.
yep, there it is. Yep, apologies. Even I flubbed up that one. Sorry, Diane.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I had a third, but obviously he DC'd. You guys want to try to do one for me?
All right, now it's your turn. Stand by.
Yeah.
Oh, you got this. All right.
If I can, trying to think who we're gonna do for this. Okay, let me think of this one. Okay.
The casual thought process.
Yep.
It's tough.
All right, I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay.
Oh, oh, it's backwards. Oh no.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
mom were too. It's fine.
Hold on, I gotta flip my camera.
Yeah, because I can't actually read what that says.
I think did I fix it? Oh God, no.
Got it.
Okay, I think I can read it. Yep. Got it. Got it.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. Male or female?
I believe female through and through. Yeah, female.
I believe that's correct.
Okay. Is it a martial class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Would it be the equivalent of? Are they an angry person?
I mean, yeah. angry
Not
would
at
be
all.
Super passive. Yeah, no. Angry is a good way to describe. Yeah.
Do they currently reside in Texas?
I don't know if they reside in Texas.
Do they currently wander the wasteland of Texas?
I would say yeah.
That sounds accurate.
Are they an asshole?
I mean, they all are.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. Is it Ash?
It is.
Oh yeah.
Angry is a good way to
Oh,
work with it.
I
Yeah.
resemble that remark.
That voice.
Bravo.
All right. Well, I would like to thank you guys so much. We'll go ahead and do the outro. Before we do that, real fast, you guys can find D'Angelo at _D'Angelo, if I'm not mistaken. He can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I believe that's what it is. And obviously Pawn and Golok. So Eddie, where can we find you?
Hi everyone. You can find me on all the various social medias and on Twitch at Discount Bard, where I do video game content. I'm also here on Wednesday nights for Realms of Ukador, where I play Eclipse, the Tabaxi Rogue.
Awesome. What's your schedule? What's your streaming schedule right now?
Currently, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays evenings, and at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and then Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific.
Awesome. And D'Angelo also streams on Twitch. He could put his stuff down there because I'm not sure all of his streaming schedule either. Casual.
I'm Jordan, better known as Casual Campbell. You can find me on all social media at casual_Campbell. You can also find me later playing Hemian in Wizards of Ukador. Tomorrow playing Clay in Vault42. And what I consider possibly the most important part of my week is this Sunday. In a few days is the series premiere of Volcania Forge of Fate. And if I may spiel a little bit on it, do you mind?
Yes, absolutely. Go for it.
So we are using this system is setting are available with Volcania, created by Gear Games. Volcania is a steampunk role-playing game. It's defined by cinematic action, plots, and investigation using a unique D12 system. It's set in the foggy atmosphere of a fantasy world in the thick of a steampunk-flavored industrial revolution. The simple rules, they favor the action and dynamic typical of adventuring novels. And I get to be the chronicler as we spread through the amazing Isle nations in which we will investigate great industrial cities, barren wastelands, frozen wastes, and much more as I dive through more than a dozen players in a long-form campaign as we rotate the cast to explore this most beautiful world in which danger awaits every corner. And I assure you, I will make sure that someone dies every episode.
Jeez. Oh God, that's terrifying.
But it's all fun and games. All I gotta say is
NPCs
all
count
aboard.
that, right?
I have a sneaking suspicion I might be one of your deaths.
You have a very strong sneaking suspicion, and I promise you, we'll see what happens. But more importantly, everyone,
Dips.
so tune in Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific, as I lead the adventure. All aboard and full steam ahead.
Awesome. I cannot wait. And that is Sunday. What time?
Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific.
Fantastic. And I am Ronan Fox. You can find me at Ronan Fox on Instagram and now Twitter. It's FAWKS. And I think that's it. So for Fox's sake, guys, be nice to each other.
Raffle.
Oh God, I always forget the
Oh,
raffle.
one job. See this? Let me take
I
over the show.
always remember the mid-show giveaway. Man, that sign-off was just.
It was
Whatever.
it was good, and we actually don't have a
So-
mid-show giveaway anymore. But I did it today
I
because you said
know,
it.
I know. Just whatever. I'm so professional. All right. Anyway, between show giveaway, of course, enter Frostguard as the code to be entered into the between show giveaway. And that starts in 1 hour at 6 p.m. Pacific. So we will see you then. I'm not doing my sign off again. So just peace.
Casual sake, be nice to each other.